Welcome, welcome to our weekly New Gambia platform, Talk So. Today we're gonna be having political discussion on President Barrow's Eid speech and also his new cabinet formation. We're gonna look into, what are the pros and cons, and then what are the things that we should be expecting from this administration, this new administration. So I have my co-host Sam Sise, Indiana, USA, Alas, Germany. welcome. I'm your host, Mo the Sound in New York City. Yeah. So, Sam, you can start the debate. What do you think? Let's just go with the president's speech. He mentioned how he's gonna be tough, finding people go to door to find out those who are working. If you're late, you're gonna get punished. If you are not doing your job, he's gonna have a watchdog. And he also spoke about people like Madi Jobate who spoke about corruptions of his government, how those people are not doing good to the country, and then those who are helping them are also not in favor of the good intention of the country. So he mentioned that those folks he had to make the country burn down, and it was a remarks that was really all over the social media. Yeah. So and he talked to a council of elders about other things. I watched the video, so we just want to decipher that, and then also the cabinet's formation. That will be our second topic. That how are people responding to that? What were the expectation? What is now? What is the tempo in the state house now? Being that a lot of people have supported President Barrow's presidential bid from different political party, and we haven't seen most of their representation on that cabinet. Yeah. So you can start with the first topic, and then perhaps when we finish with that, like for almost like half an hour, then the other one we do next half an hour.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is thank you all, and thank you, Mr. Sawana. Thank you, Alice, for being here again with us. All of us on the same talk show every Sunday. So, but before I start, I would like to take this opportunity and recognize all the mothers out there. Today is Mother's Day, and I'd like to say a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Mothers are people that we always have to thank. We can't even thank them enough. And I ask Allah to really reward them for all the hard work that they do. From pregnancy all the way to child care, taking care of us until we grow up, until we get on our feet. Our mothers did everything, sleepless nights, feeding us, changing us, doing all kinds of things. So thank you to all the mothers out there. I really appreciate it all. And we love you, all the mothers. So thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
With that said, getting into today's topic, we've got two different things, all about the president and the government. One is about his speech, and the other part is about the selection of his new cabinet. I'm going to start, definitely we're going to do one at a time on the president's speech. I want to start with that. From my analysis, there are good things out of his speech, and I look at one bad thing that's in there as well. So I'm going to talk about the bad thing first, and then end up on a good note. The bad thing is the president's personal attack on Madi Jobate. That is unusual, for any president to stand out there in the world and attack one person in the country. People and the president need to realize that there are fundamental and constitutional rights for people, for all citizens, to exercise their rights. This is a constitutional right, and Madi has that right to express his opinion and say what he wants to say, as long as it's within the law. So there's nothing wrong with what Madi said, coming out just like any journalist and anyone, any individual, wherever you are, you always have that right to express the right to express your freedom, to express free speech, to express your free speech. So I don't think it was necessary for the president to come out after Maddie and said what he said. So that part is, to me, if I were the president, I wouldn't even call an individual to talk about something negative in front of all those Muslim elders and in front of the nation. In other words, I would select a name of a person to talk about them, just like presidents do, to praise them for something or recognize them for something, but not to attack them. So that's the bad part. On the good side, from what I've seen, and I watched the video, actually didn't watch it until yesterday, and even didn't finish it because of time. I had to rewatch it today, this morning when I woke up and understand. I also took notes because, and I'm glad I did, because there is a lot of things that he said that I had already said for the past since 2018, when I formed my group, Solutions for Gambia. There's a lot of things that I said there. And even most recently, if you people that really listen to my WhatsApp audios from my group, I spread them out and people spread them out. If you look 2 weeks ago, you look in those, you will hear me saying that the government should condemn any V8 vehicles. Vehicles that are 8-cylinder vehicles. They are going to be a waste for our country. We are a very poor country. We need to really control our expenses. And one of those is no one, with the exception of the State House, no one should be driving a V8 vehicle. And he said that in his speech. He was like, wow, I've said this before in the past years, and I just recently said this again. That is a good thing, and I'm glad he's going that route. The other part too is talking about the government civil servants. I said a lot about civil service reform, and I've also talked about customer service. I talked about speed of service. All of these were things that I said in my WhatsApp audios. Speed of service is very important for people, the taxpayers, to be able to go to government offices and be able to get what they need within a short period of time. And there's nothing like go home till the next day, or the person that does that is not here. You have to come back the next day. You come back the next day, that person is at a gente, a naming ceremony, and they are not there, then you have to come back again. All of that is nonsense. That shouldn't be happening in any workplace, let alone a government, which is a public service area. So for the people, really holding people accountable is the key there, making sure that people go to work and on time and they do their job. Don't make poor people, you know how transportation is in Banjul, in Gambia. Don't make poor people, excuse me, take that hustle to try to get a taxi or get in a vehicle, go to Banjul, join an office to transact a personal business, and they can't get it done because you know why? There's a lot of wait time and a lot of back and forth. And I'm glad that he said that, because I said that in my speed of service. I've spoken about customer service since 2018. Did it in 2019, did it in 2020 and 21. Every year, my people in my group wants to bring that topic back because it's getting worse in Gambia. And every time they brought it back, I talked about it. So that's speed of service. I'm glad he said that everything that comes to the State House will be taken care of. He takes care of that within 24 hours. Why would the other government officials take that long? They're going to give them about 48 hours. They need to get it out by 48 hours. That was all things that I said in the past. So again, another kudos to the president for saying things like that. Another part is, I remember vehicles parked on the road. This is something that we talked about in my group as well. Me and my colleagues all talked about this in the past. How do we clear that? How do we stop this traffic congestion? How do we avoid accidents? All of those are things that we talked about in that group, so that we can clear our streets. And I heard the announcement on the
You're storm, Sam. You put
Your voice.
okay, now it's okay.
Oh, did I mute myself? Yeah,
Yeah, maybe you press somewhere.
let me see.
Okay, now it's
Yeah,
okay.
I may have. Yeah, I must have touched something, a key that muted me. But anyway, all of these are things that I've said in the past about when we were talking about accident prevention and how do we clear the roads. So parking vehicles on the roads, these are things that the government really should step up and get these roads cleared because, and also create pathways. I've also made that another video and audios about that, not video, but audios about that, and even circulated how street sidewalks should be for people. So there's a lot of good things. And I do want to take this time to say thank you to the president for coming up with all of this and saying all this. I don't know if he's been hearing my audios or not, but these are great moves. These are great moves. And that's the way to do it. We need to make our country better for our people. We're already, our country is 57 years old, and we are 57 years behind time. That's how bad it is. We are 57 years behind time. We're not up to speed in a lot of things. So moving all this, another thing that he mentioned, that I have also mentioned in the past years is building overpass for roads so that there's to avoid traffic congestion. You've got to build some overpass so vehicles can go up and bypass certain things, certain area and high traffic. That creates a lot more flexibility for the vehicles on the main road. And again, it really handles the congestion out in our country. And I know Combo area, Serakunda to Banjul, from Brikama to Banjul, is in the Combo in general, it's always densely populated with vehicles and vehicles not moving fast enough, a lot of congestion in there. And to avoid that and to really do something about that is to think about overpass and bypass that will go around the city and get people to the where they need to be. That means there will be less traffic on that because most people are avoiding traffic by taking overpass and bypasses. So I'm going to stop here for that. I won't get into the selection of the ministers and give Alice a chance to come in, and we'll go around. And then when we get to that, we will talk about, I'll come in and say something about the selection of the new cabinet. But great job. It was a great speech. I think this is one of the best that the president said something that makes sense to people. Is that one of the best speech that he did to really bring control in our government. So thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I can come. I have quick questions that we can debate on. Alas, thank you, Sam, for that insight. Alas, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, Mr. Sawane. I thought that you wanted to say something to Sam.
No.
Sam, thank you very much.
I'll come together when you guys when you finish.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for our audience also. Sam, you mentioned also very important things. I mean, the video from about that Madi Jabata, I didn't see everything. I just saw Barrow, addressing about that, and I myself, I found it also like that. That is a personal attack which should not be done from the president, just like that, because on the other hand, it's because of democracy is there. So democracy, you cannot just always enjoy the one part, because when you say A, you have to say B. That means when you want to lead as a democratical president, you need to understand that we are in a democratic state, and there are certain things it can happen. And when it happens, you have to see a solution and how to go with it. As far as the person did not insult or but went also luckily according to the law, then you should not just react like that. The reaction was not the best, which people expected also. But I mean, the president is also a human being. And when you look at our fingers, I used to say they are not all the same. Yeah, that's it. Because we want to enjoy our democracy. And our democracy, we need to understand democracy is like that. Look at Joe Biden, such big presidents, what they throw to them every day. But they understand the game. Look at the Queen. Look at even our chancellor here. The last days and weeks about because of this war. He was getting from all corners stones. But as a president or a leader, you need to understand democracy, and there are certain things they should not move you. I know that for Barrow is also in a learning phase and needs to learn a lot also about democracy, and being a president also. That there are certain things you can work with it at home, and when you come to the public, you have to behave different because the whole Gambia is watching you, the whole Gambia is listening to you. So it's very important to show a better reaction and good and informative messages out because that's what people are expecting and waiting. I mean, they should not always take things personally, which is also very sad, even in our politics. If you just look at our politics, it's always about this person, this person, this person. You hardly hear somebody who come and try to make suggestion about development or some things like that. Even the election, you'll never see anybody stand to say, when I'm voted, I'm going to do this and that and that and that. I cannot blame the people because, I mean, we are just starting with the democracy and starting to feel what is democracy and trying to know what is democracy and what we can do, But that's it. We have to stop personal attacks, whether it's in politics or anywhere, because that doesn't bring us anywhere, which is very common in Africa. Everybody is trying to, I saw a picture, where Africans, when you're going up, they try to get your feet and pulling it down. And the white people trying to climb, they try to help him to go up. So it's just a matter of showing the mentalities we are having, the difference, and that's what we also have to change, not only in Africa, but in the Gambia also. When somebody is trying to go up, then people should try to help him somehow and so support him to go up and not just to pull him down. So my message to Barrow is just to try and understand that we are in a democratic place and then being a democratic, which many are praising him about, even in the outside world to say, okay, it's a democratic president. But then you have to behave like a Democrat and not like a dictator, because dictators have time for such, even personal attacks and such nonsense to react and so, because they don't understand what is democracy. So in a democratic state, we have this freedom of speech, which everybody is proud of. I mean, it's not the only thing we have in it and we have in a democratic republic. There are other things what people don't still know. So these are the things we have to first understand. It will come, those days I used to say, people used to laugh when I say our baby, meaning our newly democratic state. We have a lot to learn about democracy. It's not just freedom of speech, and these things are coming. It's getting better. I mean, Rome was not built in a day, and let us hope for the best in the future. So when we come to the other speeches he's made and his wishes, and so you can see that I think Barrow is signaling that he's ready to work. You understand? I think he's trying to show a little bit of dedication in that area to say, okay, I would like to do this and that and that. I know that he also loves Gambia and want to do certain things for Gambia. My only problem I have is always um, that he needs a very good advisor and advisors who are going to help him in his way, in his journey to develop the nation, you know. And there should be people who are not only interested about their money by their pockets or their success, but the success of the whole Gambia and Gambian people. Such people can give Barrow hands and try to move Gambia forward. But I have this feeling that he's ready to work when he knows what he should do exactly. Thank you very much, Mr. Sawana. I think you can come.
Thank you, Alas. All right, thank you, Alas, for a wonderful summation on this. Now we're gonna go to our question and answer session. So first, Sam, I will ask, what do you think of Barrow's attack on Mahdi? Is it to threaten our democracy so that anybody who is out there would think twice before they say something about corruption or other mishaps that is happening within the government? Do you think this is kind of like a threat to our democracy, or is trying to kind of remind us of Jammeh's era?
It is absolutely, just like I said, it is a threat to democracy because for an individual to come out and say something, yes, Gambian citizens in any country, citizens have the right to hold the government accountable. They are going to criticize the government. And I like constructive criticism. You criticize, at the same time, give options, say something that is going to help, not just criticize because of the sake of criticizing, but you're not coming up with any idea. I'd like to, when I criticize, I want to say, I didn't listen to everything Mahdi Jobat has said or whatever he said. He may have done that, I don't know. But when I criticize, I want to say, what you're doing is not right, or there's a better way to do that. And here is how, and I'll show you how. That constructive criticism is always important, and everyone need to welcome.
Yeah, but Mahdi actually criticized the local government, like the Minister of Lands and Communication, I believe, for allocating lands for people.
Yeah, and that is Mahdi is right by doing that. He is right by doing that because he is a citizen. He has the right to criticize the government and their actions, especially something that was of that magnitude. The minister allocating free lands to government officials instead of to the poor people. Okay, and those lands, even if he didn't allocate them to the taxpayers or the poor people, at least keep them as a government reserve, keep them for our reserve. Maybe the government, we're running out of space in Gambia. Maybe our government can
especially giving it to people who can, already afford it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The taxpayers, the people that can't afford it, giving it to them and you help them, everybody will be happy with that. Or reserve them to be state properties. That's very important. We're running out of space in the country. So when government has places like that, they need to be reserved. They should not be allocated to ministers and people that already have something. I don't think that's fair. That is not fair at all. And Mahdi was right in doing that. That's why I said it's good to criticize when criticism needs to happen. Sometimes you criticize constructively, but in this case, yes, what Mahdi was saying was wrong. It should not have happened. And unfortunately, we will get to that part also. But unfortunately, is bad for our country. And so a president, any president or this president trying to keep people's mouth shut is not going to happen, is unconstitutional, is not anywhere in near democracy. So people need to have the right to be able to say what they need to say. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Alas, you mentioned that, Alas, yeah, I'm coming to you. You have something to say, or because I have a question for you?
Yeah, okay. Go on.
Yeah. So Alas, you mentioned that Barrow is ready. It seems like Barrow is ready to work. What are some of the signs that you think is ready to work? What have convinced you that you think he's ready to work?
Yeah, as Sam said also from his speech, these things like the projects he wants to implement and things like that. I think he is, and the next thing is he knows that now everything is in his hands and there is no excuse because before one could say okay because of the coalition on this and that, and now anything what happens in the Gambia, good or bad, the fingers will be pointing to only one person. And I think Barrow himself knows that now. And as Sam said, maybe he wants to leave a good legacy. So he has a hard work to do. And I think he understands it also. That's why he's coming up with such proposals about developing the Gambia to move the Gambia forward. I think that's the signal. And then the next thing is, I think his cabinet, if you see maybe the way he organize it, is also a sign that he's ready to do something somehow. Because if not, he was going to maybe hold the old people there. But it's also good because Gambia is full of talents, so it's very sad when people just go because of nepotism and I don't know how to call it, partisans and supporters, and put them in very delicate or important places where the Gambia should go forward. And after 5 years, seeing that these people didn't move anything, an inch, it was just waste of years. I think then it's better to take everything in the hand and then try to look and choose people. That's how I see his cabinet anyway. Choose people who knows something and want to move the country, and who people think they can help Barrow to move the country forward.
But alas, he had a chance even with the coalition to change people who are not fit enough. He had that chance because he was able to fire I mean like Ousainou Darboe and Amadou Sane and others when he felt that they are not working with him. Okay, so he could have resolved his cabinet then, but he just waited until now. I mean, what does that mean? And does it mean that
Yeah, I
he's
would
just playing
say
politics or what?
these are two things. One, we need to understand. Barrow was there. He has never been a president before. There were a lot of things he never even thought of doing it in the Gambia because he didn't know. That's the one thing. And then the second thing is, from my opinion, the fact that he was new to everything, it was a lot of stress. I'm not supporting him. I'm just taking him as
No,
a
you
human.
you could support
No,
him if you want.
I'm just taking him as a human. It could be you too. So one is
Yeah,
new at that position, and then two, there was a lot of stress, political stress surrounding him. I think for the Gambia was just 3 years of waste, you can say, just to say it directly. We got 3 years of waste of time just because of political crisis around him. You understand what I mean? So he just started thinking about doing something that was the last 2 years. So, which he just started maybe some projects, and some he didn't even start it. He planned it, but the time of election was there. So then was the thinking, what have I done? Maybe he was having a lot of plans, but because of the examples I give you, was an obstacle. So now, where he is free, I think, where he sees that, okay, Gambian people, the majority stand behind him, especially the youths and all, they are all waiting and hoping because the majority of the youths and the women, they voted him. which I used to say even at the beginning. I mean, when he is a president, he should not forget about these two positions, the youths of the country and the women. If not, next election, when they don't see anything, it can be a problem for him to be voted again in the next election. So he has a lot also to do to make sure that these two positions are satisfied. You know what I mean? So for him was a lot of stress and so, and I think, and he knows it also, and maybe he does what he wants to change. That's why he changed also his cabinet, showing signaling that now I want to do something. And I believe that he wants
Right.
to do something when he gets the right help and so. The only thing is he needs also help, somebody to tell him also in a democratic state what to allow and what not to allow. And again, I just wanted to say something. I mean, the primary thing is that he was making this speech, good or bad, I mean, in the wrong place, from my eyes, from my point of view. You understand? Because he was talking with the elders. It's right. It's okay to do that. But this good information he was having was not just for these people, this group. It was for the whole Gambia. So from my point of view, is he should have taken a day, go to GRTS or invite them and make these speeches because Gambians are sitting down waiting to hear always from him. You know, I should not just have the most important speeches, just invite certain people, put them in a corner and talk to them about anything. These are issues concerning about the country, not only the Banjul elders or I don't know. You understand? That's my point of view. It's good. The speeches were good and all, but in a wrong place. You get me?
Yeah.
Because it's
Okay.
concerning the whole country. And in a democratic place, it's very good, but come out and say the thing. Our problem is always what I always used to say for years. We don't want to be transparent, always. But there are disadvantages for not being transparent. You understand? Always come
Okay.
openly and talk to people, then there will be no discussion. Even if people are trying to talk about any nonsense and so, sometimes because they don't have the real information. Why? Because I am not transparent. But when I come out, as many presidents or leaders do, then people know automatically, even the last dog knows automatically what happened. You understand? So people don't need to go and tell lies or trying to change your words and all those. That's the disadvantage about it. That's why I used to say that how many years to be transparent. Come out, say something. If it is wrong, people laugh. Doesn't matter. You send your message. If you are
Okay.
not sure in English, come out with your language, which many can understand. Even if you get too translated, the English
So
language
now,
is for English
Alice.
people, not for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. So Alice, you have given your point on that. Let me ask Sam how what all the things that president say he gonna implement if he believes that he could implement them. Because saying is one thing. In the past, having to create a watchdog, making sure that people report on time at work, making sure that people delivers, otherwise they're gonna get fired. Jato. He not gonna be like a paper, but he would be more Jato. Jata, Jato, right? Okay. He is Jato is kind of like in the
Bitter
middle,
tomato,
like
bitter tomato,
bitter
bitter
tomato.
tomato. You call
Exactly.
it.
I had it
From
mentioned that
tomato to
it's
bitter tomato or
yeah.
what?
So you think do you think this is all these things that he's mentioning? Can he actually do this? I mean, because Gambian people, what we are good at is we're good at ideas, but when it comes to implementation, when it comes to like making sure that those ideas are done and that they are up and running constantly, it's really a challenge. Do you think this president can do that? And if he can do it, how can he do it?
Yeah, good question. Before I answer that, I do want to say something to what Alice said. I thought Alex made a good point here. The president's speech, I totally agree, should have been when you're doing a State of the Union address. That's where you say things like this. But just addressing elderly people from Banjul, even though it was recorded, wherever president goes, people are going to hear everything that he says, especially if it's on television or some kind of recording, a video recording. But those are things that should have come with a State of the Union address, because these are state matters, things that really impact the whole country, not just Banjul. So that's a good point, Alice. So in Sawana's point, do I think that, or how is the president going to implement these? It is true that there is a difference between saying and doing. Saying stuff is one thing, actually getting it done is another. So that's where the challenge comes. It's easier to say something. So just like they say, easier said than done. There are things that are easier said than done. Now, yes, he can do them if he has the right people with the right mindset that are experienced in these areas that can do it. The president himself is not going to be the one that's going to do it. He is the leader. He is showing his leadership skills as or leadership abilities as what leaders need to do. He is learning from these, and I know the past 5 years has really been a waste for us, for the country. Really, it's been a waste for our country. So I think he has learned from some things, and he wants to implement them, whether he knows how or not. But he is getting the right message, and getting to try. He's trying to implement them, and that's why he said things like that. I hope with the government reshuffle, with this new cabinet, I hope he is putting, or he has already put the right people in the right places, because that's one of the things that I said in the past. You've got to have the right people in the right places. If not, nothing is going to work. And so all of these things that he said, and all the reinforcement that he wants to do, these are things that if I were the president, they will come from day one. I will come with that day one. Everybody's got to go to work and on time, and you've got to do your job. If not, I'm going to get you out. Just that easy. Those are things that should have happened.
Does he mean that? Does he learn that he hasn't been effective, as competent as possible?
Obviously he is. Yes, obviously he has learned that.
Maybe even knew that before, but the problem was maybe to take certain steps, and people will be angry of him.
Yeah. Well,
when the election comes, he'll lose.
Yeah. No. When
that
you're
can
a
also
leader,
be a hindrance.
when you're a leader, you really need to be true to yourself. You need to do the right thing. By doing the right thing the truth is always going to be the last thing. The truth is always going to prevail. So just do the right thing and not worry about your political career. Yes, people have to worry about, presidents have to worry about that. But if you do the right thing, at the end of the day, people are going to see that you're actually doing the right thing. Yes, by doing the right thing, it's not going to be good for some others. There are certain individuals that are in the government for their own interest, for their own pockets. Yes, you're going to do things that are going to block them. Those people, it's just like people with different perspectives. So people like that are going to say, that's not good. This president is not good. They're going to criticize. Yes, let them criticize us all day long. No big deal, because that does not take the country anywhere. The ones that say what the president actually says he's going to do, when he does that, that's what moves the country forward. So, and we all care about our country. We want to see our country move forward. And in fact, when I mentioned this, I remember like 2-3 years ago, when I said that the government should have this kind of thing, I mentioned the word mystery shop. Is done through mystery shop. You actually don't want people to know who these people are. You know how Gambia is. If you know that Sam Cisse is one of the presidents, is one of those people that are going to come into offices and see what people are doing, and if they're there on time, people are going to hate Sam Cisse, and people are going to try to attack you. People are going to do everything to eliminate you. But if you make it a mystery shop program, mystery means it's a mystery. You don't know. It'll be people that are going into government offices every day on daily basis, no uniform, no name tag, nothing to identify them. Okay, they go into every government, different people go into different departments. You go in there and you check what's happening. 8 o'clock in the morning, is everybody at their desk? No. Okay, you record these. You go out, you just, even if it's 5 questions on a form that they will fill out. They can create that survey on their phone, an app on the phone. They could be in the offices. Is everybody at work on time? Yes or no? Simple things like that don't require a whole lot of writing a whole note. When they observe people going to immigration to get their passports, how long was the line? How long does it take them for them to get to their passport? Interview people, talk to people and say, how long have you been waiting? Make yourself, that person is a mystery shopper. They're going to make themselves just like they're also here for the same thing. When they walk in, they ask the next person, how long have you been waiting? Oh, I've been here 2 hours. Oh my goodness, wow, I wonder how long I'm going to wait. You're going to be a mystery person. You're going to look like, it's just like an NIA, just going to be one of those people that nobody knows. You're just going to be an individual and record things like this and then submit that information that ends up in the State House. That's how it works. And that's how I described it, as a mystery shopper. And these are the people that need to go. They're going to go to the hospitals, check the nurses, check all the hospital workers, see how are they taking care of people. I mean, you look at all of this, you go to fisheries, you go to every department, there are going to be people that are going to be mixed. And 1 week they assigned to Department of Education, another week they're in forestry, another week that person is going to finance department. So you mix them and nobody knows who they are. That's the way it really needs to work. And that's what's going to make sense, because nobody knows who they are. You see, it becomes a mystery.
I think that is the lightest thing, the lightest job, because that's why he's having the NIA there. That is not the problem. The problem is how he's going to solve it. Because most of the time, when Sam Sise voted for me in my election, was rolling his arms and running with me all over. And then after I gave him a position as thank you whatsoever, not the interest of the Gambia or anything, just because of Sam, no matter how far his education is, as compensation, I put him the Minister of Finance, which I know that he's going to spoil the whole economy. But I'll do it for the sake of thank you. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So if Sam's department is doing rubbish, I mean, it's good. Your idea is good. But what is the problem of the NIA? Barrow just need to call them and tell them, look, I just want to have information about Ministry of Agriculture. That is done in 1 day. He can have the information on his table. But the problem lies, how is he going to fight it? Because you are his man. He put you there. You understand each other, you are just like brothers, you fight for him. So it's difficult for him now.
It should not be difficult for any leader.
Your department is doing nonsense. You understand what I mean?
Yep.
Exactly.
It's difficult. In this case, it's difficult for him.
Yeah, well,
that's how we are.
Leader, that's where he needs to go away from. He needs to put that in his bag. And move on.
That's where the issue. You remember when somebody came and complained about the COVID, names being
at the National Assembly. Yes.
Did the leadership do anything about that? Instead, perhaps somebody probably was called in the corner and say, "Hey, don't talk about all these things in open," because it depends on the person that you put there. If that person is, favors the other folks that are there and work with them, how are you going to solve the problem? That's what Alice is saying. And then that is, where the issue is.
So that's where the problem is. To know is not the problem, because everybody knows the working culture we have in the Gambia. You don't need even NIA for that or even information. Barrow himself knows that. That's why he's saying that. But the implementation is the problem.
Because the step is, I'll come to that too. The point is, once you have a strategy that you're going to put in place to monitor people and monitor the speed of service. I call it speed of service, okay? And I wanted Mystery Shop program into the speed of service. When I gave the audios, that's what I said there. Now, the speed of service is very important. You've got to be able to generate reports. when you generate report out, that's why I said you need an app, a small app or something that they can do and be able to, there are a lot of computer programmers that can create that app in Gambia for these mystery shoppers to use in everywhere. Now, how the president is going to react to this is he's going to get the report. And I'm going to get into the next part here. You know, we said a new cabinet. Okay. What should happen with the new cabinet? There's a lot of things that should happen. One of the things is every month, the president need to hold a meeting with the cabinet. When he brings those ministers in, put a big presentation on the screen and say, here is our speed of service. 95% of Gambians says they are not getting the service that they need. 90% of Gambians says when they go to government offices at 8 o'clock, nobody's there, or the people they need to go see are not there. Okay. 85% of the people of Gambians from this survey or from this report showing that 85% of Gambians that go to work don't have the courtesy to talk to people with respect. These are all things that they're going to capture. And the president need to put it out there while he's sitting with his cabinet and say, how do we solve this? We are the leaders. You've got to take the lead. And in this case, you're not pointing fingers at anyone. It's all of you together, because we should all be in this together and say, we've got to solve this. And here's my ministry. Here's Ministry of Finance. That's your report. Ministry of Agriculture. This is what we heard from you. This is what the report shows. A Ministry of Trade. This is what the report shows. Ministry of Fisheries, Health. This is what we say. So how do we solve this? I want you guys to take the lead and do your part, because if you don't, I am going to take action as the president. That's how he needs to speak. That's the tone that he needs to bring to the cabinet in closed doors. So cabinet members know that, well, if we don't talk to our people and don't have meetings in our own ministries and talk to our people to change this, the president is going to change me. That's the way it needs to be. It needs to go from the top.
Sam, I just wanted to say something. I'm even laughing saying it. I mean, I would have been very happy Barrow's reaction to Madi Jabate to do that to the ministers so that they can do their work.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. That's what he needs to do. That's why those are things that get done behind closed doors in a cabinet meeting where there are no cameras, there, nothing. The president need to look at all these ministers. That's why I said now that there is a new cabinet, these should be some of the things that he needs to put his foot down, because he said he's going to. Well, we heard what he said. The question is he going to do it? He needs to start. He needs to start with his new cabinet.
The point here that both of you are saying is that, yes, these are good ideas. The only issue here we're having is implementation. And now, being that there is something called political interest, people have political interests, people have interests that they don't want to, mess with. So that comes on the way. Unless we can put those interests on the side, I don't think, these things that we're talking about here.
Well, yes. So in that situation too, like I said, there is a closed door meeting with the cabinet, and then there's going to be individual one-on-one conversation with certain ministers. If I were a president and I nominate a minister for a certain department, and I'm seeing nothing but bad situation happen in that department, even one bad thing, I'm going to call that minister face to face, one-on-one, and give you that coaching, because you've got to coach people. The president has to coach these ministers and say, I need this. I know you're appointed here. I know you, I trust you, I know you, and I appointed you to fix this. If you can't fix it, unfortunately, I'm going to have to move you. Tell him in face to face, let him know. Now that the president has been elected for another 5 years, if I were him, I'm not going to look at anybody in the eye. I'm not going to look for any political stuff. If it's not you, it's somebody else. You know what?
But it's difficult. That is difficult, Sam.
Everyone is replaceable.
It's the right thing, but it's always difficult for.
Well, I mean, if you want to just like they said, if you can't stand the heat, you've got to get out of the kitchen. That's it. If the president cannot stand that conversation, to have that face-to-face conversation, he's the boss. He is the leader. He is the one that and only one that people elected and put in that office. They can't take
how does knowledge of the job or knowledge of
the know-how is very important. Like I always say, that's very important. Knowing how is important. That's why he needed to surround himself with the people that know how, because he doesn't know all of it. The people that know how and advise him on these. So, if I were the president, I would have gotten rid of all the advisors as well. I would have changed them all, and I would have brought people in.
I think that's the
that
most
have
important thing.
experience in certain areas that can advise me, so I know how to treat these ministers. I know what to do with these ministers, and I know how to handle every situation. 3 good advisors is better than 5 bad ones. Okay, so
yeah, and to have an advisor, you have to be also careful, because when somebody is an advisor for you because of his pocket, not for the interest of the Gambia, that person can also lead you astray.
That's why
so Barrow himself should understand and watch the people and study them, whether they are giving him the right information or advice benefiting the country or not, or helping his projects.
What I'm sensing here is that the advisors need to be vetted and make sure that they don't have any political alliances or interest alliances. So that way, their advice could be beneficial to the nation. Because if you have if Alas gets Sam as an advisor, and then they are in the same, they have the same political ambition or the same political party, and they have the same interest, the advice might not be fruitful to the nation. I think that's what we need to look at. What do you guys think?
That's why every leader has to be very careful who you use as your advisor, who you choose as an advisor.
I think here where Barrow should understand and differentiate, or how to call it, separate his advisors for political rallies and so forth from his advisors about the development of the country. You understand? Yeah, that's it. So
that's
I
why
think when he does that, he will not go wrong.
Yeah, he should have.
But I cannot take somebody who helped me with my rallies to win to advise me about development of the Gambia. We need to understand here and try to put clear lines.
Yeah, they are different.
So I hope that he will not do that mistake to think that the person who is fighting for me to be voted in the stadium should be the best person who can give me advice for the future of the country. These are 2 different things. So I hope that he will understand that.
So I think we exhausted this topic, and we can just go to the next one. Our Mariam C has been very, very, very active on our platform. Let me read some of the comments that she said. When he was a minister at the Ministry of Education years ago, he used to stay overtime just to make sure that the students are given all the information and support to go to school. I am saying this because I experienced this. What is his name? This and I mean, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala grant Jannat KOK Kamara. He was a great reference in educational sector. So he also said that many students who graduated from French schools were accepted to Senegal universities and colleges. They succeeded because of Badra Diouf. So he said Badra Diouf has good, a good history in terms of what he did. So I mean, he's been very active on the social media on our platform, and some of the comments are there. We can look at it later, but let's move on to the next topic. Again, Mariam C is a very a very big fan here.
She's welcome.
Yeah. All right. So the second topic is the selection of the ministers, which is also comes under the president. A lot of people were surprised about this because they were thinking that some of the political allies would be there, especially from APRC. And I had some APRC folks who were interviewed, and they said whether they were disappointed that they didn't have any ministry positions. There is other positions coming, which will be the foreign services and other areas, but the most important ones are this ministry cabinet and the cabinet position. Now, he maintained some people, and some people are questioning that too. Why would you maintain those people who are not actually doing their jobs? or is it for political reasons? So we need to look at that as well and debate about it. Yeah. So Tom, you come in first, or
sure, I'll come in. You know, it is true. There has been a lot of speculations even before the nomination of all these new cabinet members. People have been speculating what's going to happen. The president himself, I'm sure, was under some situation where he had to worry about catch-22. You know, when I said catch-22, you know what that is. You know, if you have two tools to catch, which two do you catch? If you catch this two, then we're going to lose this other one. You know, and it's the same equal value. So the president has found himself under the catch-22. But at the end of the day, he had to make a decision. So yes, it is normal. It is normal that during campaign and, you know, all the people that work for a candidate and the candidate wins, it is normal that that candidate appoints some people from those who help him. But what we've seen around the world is you appoint people that are really competent people from that group, not necessarily the person that did all the work. The person that did all the groundwork may be a good person to your candidacy, to your presidency, or to even winning, but may not be a good person to put in your cabinet. You know, that person may not have the knowledge and experience to put in there. So you don't want to put them in there. You want to come up with people that really can do it. That's the most important thing. Who can do the job? Who can do the job? Not necessarily who has been around for a long time, who helped me and all of that stuff. Yes, there are political implications. And if a president selects someone or fail to select certain people, then they will back off. They will not support him anymore. That is normal. That is normal. But the key here is, you know, what the president really needed to look for. And any leader, you've been in the same position for 5 years. What have you done for the people? What have you done? Your record is what you should go with. If you have good record, you're competent enough, you made changes, you made development, you made difference in your position, and it's worth keeping you, I'll keep you. If you have not done anything but drama, if you've not done anything but problems, if you've not done anything but mediocre work, I don't want you in my next government because you're not going to help me. And if the president's goal is to really develop the country and move the country forward, well, guess what? You're going to go with people that are going to help you do that. That is the right thing to do. I am surprised, though, that we have people in there that are still controversial. You know, the people that he kept, okay, some of them are very controversial. In my mind, if I were him, I wouldn't be keeping them. I would be getting them out of there too, because I've spent the last few years with them and I have not seen any difference in their development in their specific areas. So why keep them? And number two, someone that's been a mediocre worker, a minister that not only has controversial issues, but has done things that you know are bad judgments, whether you were aware of that or not, but you know things that that person has done that are not good for our country, is not moving our country forward. They are not fair to taxpayers. You move them from one department to another. Well, you're just transferring a problem. It's just like you transfer a problem from your living room to your bedroom. That's just like that. So you're transferring a problem.
Is it because he doesn't want to upset that particular Democrat?
You know, when you're a leader, you should not care about upsetting people. You should care about the truth, because that's what you're going to be held accountable for. And when you die, that's what Allah is going to hold you accountable for. So if I were him, I wouldn't care about who is going to be upset. Yes, you can upset people.
I think two ministers were in that category: Musa Drame, and then this
Ahmad Bah.
Ahmad Bah stays at his own place. I mean,
it's his own place. That's correct.
But this guy, what is his name? Information minister. What's his name?
Ibrahim Asila.
Ibrahim Asila also was moved to to works and communication. If you look at some of these things, these people might probably don't even have knowledge about where they are moved to. So what do we need? What is that telling us?
Yep. So, you know, one thing I would say is I am not going to individually talk about a person because I don't know them too much. But what I do know is I want to look at their records. One,
Yeah, but you
I'll
can
start
talk
with
about,
Musa Drame.
the move or the move or the
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going to get to. I'm going to talk about Musa Drame, Ministry of what was he? Local government, right?
It was
That local government minister, when he was there was too much chaos, too much stuff that he didn't know what to do.
too much.
He was getting
alleged corruptions.
he was getting into getting himself into things that he was not constitutionally ready to do, or constitutionally he couldn't do. So taking that person and most recently getting lands and giving it to people, I mean, that's wrong. I would have gotten rid of that person. That person has no place in our government. He should have been gone, completely gone. That's what I would do. So that's my straight answer to that. If I were the president, that's what I would have done. Regardless of my relationship with him, I'll look at him in the eye and say, you know what? Look, you're my friend. I'll call him face to face and say, look, you're my friend. I like you as a person, but I don't like what you did. Your job is not moving our country forward. So you need to step away. So let's put somebody there so that we can move this country forward. This is not for you. I'm sorry. I gave you the position, but you didn't take care of it. I'm going to move you out and put somebody else there. That's what I would have done. All right. Tell them the truth. All right. So moving on. Ibrahim Silla, Ministry of, what was he? Minister of Information?
Yeah.
Well, I think from looking at, looking at some of his records, I don't know him as a person, but looking at some of his records, there was a time I think he was giving people a misleading information. Someone that is the Minister of Information that is supposed to give people accurate information, instead was giving misleading information. And I don't think that was more to, he was there to defend the government and the president rather than telling people the truth. So getting him out of there.
Don't you think that's why he was moved? Don't you think that's why he was moved?
That may be a reason why he's moved. I don't know, but that may be a reason why he was moved. And if he get moved, somebody like that, I'll keep my eye on and see what development is he going to bring in this. I'm going to give him the first 90 days and see what actions he's taking. Then 6 months come down the road, I'm going to watch him and see if he's making any progress there. If not, I will step him aside, get the most qualified people in there.
It looks like he's been moved because of something that he's not doing right at the Ministry of Information. Well, now the president didn't want to just get rid of him because of something.
There are always political reasons behind things for the president, especially people that he wants to keep. There's always political reasons there. But what the president needs to realize is one day, whether he likes it or not, he's going to get off that state house. He will be gone. He's going to be replaced by somebody else, one way or the other. So do the right thing now. If people replace you for doing the right thing, so be it. But at least you can walk away with that integrity and knowing that you did the right thing. That's better than following the political motive behind certain things and do certain things wrong. So I would watch that minister and see what he's going to do in the next job. If he proceeds to do a good job, I'll keep him. If not, get him out.
So before I come to Alas, Sam, are you satisfied with President Barrow's new cabinet, the formation? What are you satisfied with and what are you not satisfied with?
One, I'm satisfied with the first thing is making changes. That is good. It's good to make changes, and change for better is what we're looking for. We don't know the results yet until they perform. So we're going to watch and see how this change brought change to Gambia, or if this change is going to make a difference in the Gambia, or is it going to be business as usual? If it's business as usual, that will be the time I'll say it was a bad change. If it brings some change to the government, a positive change, we can say that change is good. For now, I would say making changes is good. It's really good. However, some of the changes he made.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some of the changes he made, go ahead.
Yeah, some of the changes he made, like I said earlier, it'll be difficult for me to say much about them because I don't know them. If I knew them and I knew their background and history, I could say something. But I heard the the vice president that he put in place now. He's been in the government. I listened to the radio news and they were talking about his biography and all the things that he's done and all the experience he has. Hopefully getting him out of education. We've seen in the past 5 years how our Ministry of Education is. So I think that's a good change to get him out of there, because I don't think he has done whatever work he did there. We'll give him credit for that. But I think we're way behind time in education. He could have done more and didn't do it. So if you get him out of there, hopefully the person he puts in there is going to be a person that is going to make the big difference there. That's what I'm hoping for, but I don't know that person. I don't know. Where time will tell. Okay, time will tell. So being a vice president may be a good thing for him with his multi-cultural and language capabilities. May be helpful as a vice president, but yet to see. So I will reserve the comment on that until we see his performance.
What do you think about the other political alliance that joined Barrow's government?
Good question. Now the political
who didn't have like APRC, other groups, I think about 7 or 8 groups. None of them had ministry position. What do you think about that? Is that a good thing?
So like I said, a president, and most of the time they do appointments based on political reasons. They do some appointments based on legitimate reasons. For him not selecting anybody from APRC and made him a minister, or any of these other parties made him a minister, that's his choice. He has the right not to select them. Why he didn't select them, I don't know. But one thing I do know is, we've seen APRC government in the past, right? We know what they've done. They've had 22 years in government. I think it's a good choice by the president not to select somebody from there to become a cabinet minister. Give them to somebody else. And he dropped the old ministers, that some of them, one like Mamburen Jai, that should have been gone a long time. Mamburen Jai replaced someone that was better than Mamburen Jai. Amadou Sane was a great candidate in that position, was removed, and Mamburen Jai went in there, and we saw a disaster in our economy. So I would say that is a good move by the president by taking Mamburen Jai out. So that is a good one. So and also because he worked in the previous government, he should not have rehired him, but he did. Now he saw for himself he needed to go. He got him out. So other political parties, why he didn't select anybody from there, I don't know. I really don't know. But I would say that there are capable people out there that could come in. Dr. Cisse from Citizens Alliance could have been a minister also, could have been given a position either in the education sector or some kind of advisory role. Mai Fati did a great job when he was Minister of Interior. I would bring him back and put him in there because he's done a great job. He didn't leave there because of poor job or poor performance. He left there for political reasons. That would have been one like him. If you have somebody like him to bring him, great. If not, I wouldn't mind bringing him back into that role if I were the president. But again, I am not the president. He did his own decision on his own. So why he didn't select people from other parties, I have no idea.
Okay. But the good thing is that he actually selected people that he thought were competent to do the job.
I hope they're all competent, and time will tell. We will find that out.
That he thought, the president thought. Alas, what is your take on this cabinet ministry? Let's come to Alas now.
Yeah, some said it already. Time will tell. I love
No, I mean your assessment of the whole thing.
I just come to what Sam said also. There are a lot of parties who run after Barrow hoping that they can have a ministerial post. I was saying that even before the election, it's sad that only the Gambian government have posts for the people. That's why everybody is always running for the incumbent, always, in Africa general. And in many countries in Africa, things has already changed. The people don't always depend on the government. But Gambia, we are still at the state that without the government, some of them are having PhDs in their pockets, but without the government, no go, which is very, very sad. Every day you look at social media and so you see only Gambians with their uniforms and caps closing their universities, Sometimes you ask yourself, where are they? What are they doing in the Gambia? Some are there, they have nothing to do. Why? Because Barrow don't employ them. That's what we have to change. We discussed that here the last time, about our curriculum. That doesn't matter how intelligent Gambians are. If Barrow don't employ you, you are nothing. Most of them are having a PhD, working in the streets of Banjul, which is very sad. What's the use of their studies? Unless we change that, so that when people study something, they can still be on their feet. So when we see in the election that even opposition leaders run away from their groups, running to Barrow, people ask why? Why? Because Barrow is the only person who can employ people. You understand? Which is very sad.
So,
and Barrow cannot employ all these people. I was saying that right at the beginning. Many went to Barrow with their
do you think these people are disappointed that they didn't?
But it's definite. It's definite that when the time they say they're coming to Barrow, Barrow will not turn them back. It was his interest, but he himself knows, and they themselves also should have known that Barrow cannot employ all of us. I used to say that all the time. The Gambia government don't have.
They don't have all the
jobs. Lot of places. Yeah. It's a small community, and it's a poor country. But when everybody is forcing himself to Barrow because of their political opportunities they saw and thought, and now Barrow himself, I said it here, day after the election, I said now Barrow is the winner. So now he's having the biggest challenge in his life, and that's what I meant with it.
And he's
because everybody is going to say,
you think he did what he think is right for him by.
I mean, the people he employed and so people are speculating. As Sam said, time will tell. We cannot say that he did that extra to put Gambia back. Let us hope that he did that and sacrifice, no matter what others talk about it, good or bad, but for the development of the country. Let us hope that that is his intention to do all these things. I think so also, because that's what it's signaling, and he still have the chance and the time and the flexibility to change
again
any suspected minister.
Again, yeah.
Again,
he can do it again, yeah.
This flexibility is there. Thank God. So for him, maybe most of them is also a trial on his side to see who is going to push forward and who is going to push back. If he knows that, he still has the chance to change. Gambians are full there with PhDs and degrees, and so it's not a problem of getting the right people in the right places. The only problem we have is these political issues, these nepotism issues, these tribal issues, and. These are our obstacles. But not to say Gambia don't have any human resources. We are having very intelligent people, very landed. You can even see that in the diaspora. So Gambia cannot claim to say that we don't have educated people, that we have to go and take people from the wrestling field to be advisor or any other important position in the Gambia. Unless you have the intention to move everything forward and try to pick, as Sam said, don't listen to people, because they'll always throw you stones.
So, yeah.
Do the right thing, then you will see that it will come back to you. Because at the beginning, maybe people will have problem with it, but when they see that, Barrow did that for this reason, because that's the time they see the reason.
So
then they'll support him automatically. So he should not be afraid that people don't vote for him or anything. If you do the right job,
they will vote for you again.
You can go and sleep. People will always praise you.
The other thing is, like, do you think those people who are disappointed because they don't have any ministry position or their party don't have any representation, do you think if elections is tomorrow again, they will go along with Barrow?
Yeah, I mean, now anything, what happens, Barrow is sitting comfortably because he's having his 5 years, I don't know. So he's not afraid to let those people down now because he would think maybe it's a long way to go. And maybe the 2 weeks before the 5 years complete, he can come and compromise again. Gambians are like that. Then already
Or
they'll forget
give
about
them,
the
or
last
give them a
five
little
years.
bit, or give them a little bit more money and
Just
promise.
a bag of rice, and then the son will sign again, and he'll win again, and leave them at the back again. I said it here always, unless Gambians understand what is election and the use of their voting cards. If not, even God don't help us because he gave you the brain, he gave you the voting card, he tell you what to do, you do something different. Don't say alaleyake. I think that will
Don't
be
say
the
alala.
biggest sin. That will be the biggest sin because you cannot say that Yala Kodef, no, in this case, because he gives you everything. What you need, the brain you need, the voting card you need, show you the way. So if you misuse it or you vote some and you don't see nothing, you cannot blame God for that. I mean, it's a sin even to say God did it. No way. So
So,
Some
people run.
Barrow, okay, Alas, another one more thing. Barrow mentioned that in his speech that he has built Banjul, there's no road there that is not built. He plan to do that to other areas as well. Not only, like what he did in Bolonkono areas. So do you think, his new administration is geared up or ready, to work, to build, to do great things in all sectors?
Yeah, I suspect that too. I mean, as some said also here, always to say when a minister is not working and his ministerial post not doing good, call
But
him and talk to him.
what is the point of keeping Samate if the health is still suffering?
That is Mr. Barrow's thing. These are the problems I say. You cannot tell me that there is nobody to take that position in the Gambia, the whole
And
of
then of
Gambia. You cannot tell me there is no Gambian more intelligent than Hamad Ba. You cannot tell me that there is no other Gambian to take any other
why
position
keep
there.
Tangara, Ahmad Ba, and others?
So
Why? What are they
yeah,
doing?
that's what Sam said here. Sometimes the will is there, but to put it in practice is always our problem. I know that Barrow is willing, and thinking that, oh, now it's time for me. I have to do something for the Gambia because if not, after the 5 years, they'll say 10 years, they don't see nothing. So he's also having a very big challenge now. So, but to implement what I'm saying here is difficult because of we have political problems, we have nepotism problems, tribal problems. I said it just here. So these are the obstacles. So if you want to move forward, unless you close your eyes and force everybody to work and put away, he himself used to say, when they say we Barrow, there will be no more political discussion or something like that. He used to say that before, you remember?
Yeah.
Where, yeah, so he should try and say, look, now it's time to work, and all the ministers he takes now as trial, or I don't know, for his project and development of the Gambia. Let us hope
But one more,
if it doesn't work, he can change.
yeah, one more thing I would like Sam on this is that he has a chief of staff, and that has never happened in the Gambia. Okay, the president has a chief of staff, and he has a secretary general. So some people are complaining that that's a duplicate of responsibility, but some people are saying that maybe he wants to make sure that there's a challenge to two overseers. They can oversee each other, and then then he will, things will be transparent, or he will know exactly what is going on, because
Yep.
yeah. So this is a very important debate topic that some people are bringing out.
Sure, sure. I will say this, and I know
Someone
I'm running out of
honestly,
time here. I'll make my final comments here as well, closing remarks here. But to me, up front, I would say it was a waste of money. It's a waste of Gambian taxpayers' money. by having a Secretary of State and head of civil service and then bring in a chief of staff or whatever that position is. I was expecting a smaller government, not a large government. So having all these ministries there could have been combined. Certain ministries could have been combined. I don't know how many ministries, I didn't count, but it's about 20, right? Am I correct? 20, about 20, 21 ministries, departments?
Close to 20. I don't know.
About that. So I think bringing them down to 17, towards 15 would have been better by combining certain ministers. And when you do that, you have to select the right person that can manage that. So the president doesn't need a Secretary of State and also have a chief of staff. It's going to bring a conflict. Now, whose responsibility is whose? Who is going to be overseeing this and who is going to be overseeing this? Their commitments can come in conflict. It can create a conflict in the State House itself there. So, and that's the last thing we want. We want people that are coming in to help move our country. So if you see a department where you're going to need to split it and make it two and create another position, I would find out one person that can handle both and give them to that person rather than making it two. So that's my point on that. At the end of the day, on my closing remarks here, there's a lot.
You mute yourself.
Sam, you mute yourself. Okay. You mute yourself now.
I don't know why that is happening. I touched my keyboard and I touched something.
That's it. Yeah, you touch your screen.
Or I see. I think my mouse was sitting on the mute button, so when I touch it, it mutes it. So, but anyhow, I want to you take this opportunity and do my closing remarks here. One important thing for me and for the president at this point, if I were the president, is now that you've done the selection, there are people that you have not selected from any party, from other parties. There's still a chance because they could be sent into diplomatic missions. You know, there are people from APRC and other people that he may nominate and put them somewhere else, but they didn't get any ministry position. So the rule now is, or the focus now is the team that you have. How are you going to move this country forward? Very, very important to use that team and make sure he has a strategy. And in any leadership, it's always good to lead by example, but it's always good to follow up. It's always good to hold yourself accountable and hold people accountable with reconciliations as well. At the end of the day, it'll be very, very, very important if the president, in his first cabinet meeting, to lay a good foundation here for the country with his vision for the next 5 years. And that is important. Every minister, if I were him, I would tell every minister, you come with just 3 things in your ministry. List 3 things that are important that you want to accomplish in the next 5 years and bring that paper with you. So when you have that cabinet meeting, every minister has their just 3 things that are going to be priority for them. And then ask them, out of these 3, and involve, it's a teamwork. Involve other ministers and say, what do you think of this person's 3 things? What do you think is the most important thing in there for our country? And let all the other ministers also pitch in and do that for every single minister. Then come up with a plan. Pick one item for each ministry, what they're going to do in the next 5 years or in the next year. What is the first project they need to do? Then take those priorities for each ministry and make sure when you make your budget, there is a budget for it. Because you can't make plans after you already made the budget. The budget is already done for the year. If you don't budget the money for it, and today you come out and you say, this is what we want to do, how are you going to do it? The money is not there. It's not been budgeted. So first you need to strategize and have a plan. Like I always say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's what it is. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So make a plan and make a budget off for that plan, submit that budget to the National Assembly. And when it gets approved, now you want to have continue to have a monthly meeting with all these ministers to sit down, and every one of them is looking at the task that they have at hand, that one priority they want to focus on, let them give a progress review. Every minister need to give a progress review. And as a president, like I always say from leadership, my leadership audience is trust, but verify. When a minister says this is where they are, make a surprise visit there and go find out yourself. Don't listen to any advisor to tell you this. Don't always take what the minister tell you. You can trust him, but you need to be able to get up one day and go to that office or go to that project yourself and verify what is happening. So you can see whether that minister is telling you the truth or not, or is he pulling your leg? If he's pulling your leg, you pull his leg first before he pulls yours. That's what it is. That's what I would do as a president. So, but anyway, I want to end this here. There's a lot to be said, but running out of time here.
Just to wrap up, Sam, just your
Yeah.
final, I know just your final words, but do you think overall you do have faith in this new government, new administration?
Good question. Like I said, because I don't know them, I don't know their capabilities, so I can't say I have faith in them. I do have confidence that, and like I said, I commend the president for making a change. Because if you don't change, you're not going to get a different result. You cannot continue to operate the same way you were operating and expect a different result. So the change there is good. So I am still one of those that is going to sit down and watch and help and support, do whatever I can with my mouth and talk about what they need to do in the departments to make Gambia move forward. That's what I want to do.
Do you also think if this was other political party who won the presidency, would they also be making appointment based on political alliance, or do you think they would have done it this way?
There's no question in my mind, any political party that won the election, if a different political party won the election, yes, they will make political appointments. That is always the case. It's going to happen. Political appointments will happen. But at the end of the day, what's good for Gambia, they're also going to look at, I believe that they will look outside of the party and bring the talented people and give them those positions and hold them accountable to run that. That's what I thought.
Are you surprised with President Barrow's new cabinet pick?
New cabinet speech, you said?
No, picks.
Oh, okay. I'm not surprised. I expected him to do changes because I knew, we all know for the past 5 years, the country was not moving in the right direction. And like I said, Gambia is 57 years old. We are 57 years behind. So any president that don't make a change after 5 years, boy, I would say, boy, you're going to keep our country way behind time again.
Okay. But the way he made the change, are you surprised about that?
The way he made the change, am I surprised about that? I am not surprised. I would say that, because my expectation was to really change everybody. If I were him, I would have changed everybody in that cabinet. Every one of them would have gone and brought the new people. So I'm not surprised. He knew that some of them were underperforming and he needed to change them. So I'm not surprised.
Okay. Thank you, Sam.
Yep.
Alice.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. Alice, let's finish it up. What about you? Are you surprised about the change?
Yeah, oh no, I'm not surprised because I knew that he wants to do something. Now he knows that nobody will talk about coalition or anything, but everything is going to be is Barrow, So I think he's also very careful and want to go also his way without looking at who voted for him or who supported him in the election, which is very difficult maybe from certain political parties to understand, But I think that's the best if you want to help Gambia. And,
are you satisfied with the change?
I mean, we cannot say yes or no, as Sam said, because we don't know most of them and we don't know their capabilities. Barrow did that because he knows maybe more. And I just try to believe in him that he has done a very important move, meaning that he put the right people in the right places to move the machine, to help us reach our goal. And he's still flexible. I mean, if he nominates somebody or choose somebody, if that person is not showing any fruit, he still has the same power to change it also. It doesn't mean that Gambia don't have intelligent people. We are full of intelligent people roaming around there. So that's not that's not the thing, you know.
Yeah.
So if I thought that was a state where people you have very limited educated people, so like in 30 years back or so,
Yeah.
but
So,
things are different. People
we,
are coming from the universities. You can look at the diaspora. Every time you see men, women, you know, they are all getting graduated and coming back. Some will stay here, and they are there. They are looking for a job. They should not be neglected. Just that they don't have the chance to come in the light because they
okay.
are not any active in any political issue. But they are there. Very educated people. You give them the chance, test them, they'll show you wonders, you know. But you cannot, if you do the same thing every day, you always get the same thing.
Yeah,
What did
same
you
result.
say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All
don't
right,
expect
Sam. Thank you.
any other. Yeah, Sam, take care. You don't expect any other results when you're doing the same thing unless you change. And I think Barrow take the right move maybe to do that because he knows that everything is
Right,
now.
right in the step in the right direction.
That's it. Because everything is on his name.
Yeah.
So let us hope for the best.
So you think you think you have hope, like this, perhaps?
Yeah, let us all hope for the best. I have hope
Yeah.
because I can only get something different when I change the way I do things. And
Yeah.
he has shown that he can change things and changing it for the better. Let us all hope.
But there's still more changes to come, right? Because there are some ministry positions that are not underperforming, and he just need to sit them.
Yeah, that's why he needs to work. It's not an easy thing because you always have to prove the minister, the ministerial sector, what is going on and how things are moving. Is it going positive, negative? You know, to do a decision. You know, if at all that you have a minister who is 30 years there, but you've seen that there's always something positive, plus, plus, plus. You don't need to change that person because he's delivering or she's delivering. You know, then it's wrong to just say to that person go because maybe he's not agreeing with you politically or things like that. But you have to focus on his work. He's done right. He's doing the same move to go forward. Then it's okay. You
Okay.
know, and if you realize that he's not delivering, this sector is very bad, going backwards, then you can say, okay, you know, you take somebody else and try. Because we always do things for the better,
Well,
not for the worse.
yeah, definitely. We have to really thank our viewers, especially Mariama C. She has been really, if you go to the chat, you will see she's been really contributing a lot. She mentioned that we should finalize the draft constitution, which I think is a key. We would this government should really looking into this constitution and then do it for the Gambian people, not for only for himself. Listen, no matter how long he stays there, he's gonna get out. He's gonna go. So your legacy is more important, Mr. President. Your legacy is more important. Don't worry about how long you stay. In life, there's life after presidency where you can chill and celebrate your legacy wherever you are. You don't want to be like another exiled president we're gonna have. You need to step up your game and just do the right thing. Bring the constitution. If you say time limit, start wherever Gambian people want. If they want only 10 years, not more than that, stick with that. Don't be greedy. Because if you're greedy, you're gonna end up shooting yourself on your foot and nobody's gonna be able to help you. Look at the Jammeh situation. There's nobody more powerful than him in the West Africa region at some point. But look at him today. Can't even come to the Gambia. So, Mr. President, you need to look into that and bring the draft constitution. That's very important, and finalize it. Let the Gambian people.
But what I just wanted to say here also, Mr. Sane, we should not blame Mr. Barrow for that. The only people we should blame are the
No,
MPs.
I'm not blaming Barrow. I'm
Are
saying
the MPs,
let,
because even if
let him lose
if it
his
is Barrow's intention,
let him lose his
the
influence.
MPs are there being voted for the Gambians and to do their job for the Gambians. So it's
But
solely, even the constitution and all these things, solely is the MPs. No, they make it possible, they make it impossible. For what reason they have, but not for the Gambia. So these are things. Even if Barrow didn't want that to go through, that's why they are MPs. They have to do their job. They also need to understand why they are there. But I think Gambian people are trying to show them that through the elections. If you just watch it.
Yeah. So definitely,
I hope that this time they will work better.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Our viewers, Alice, thank you. If you have any final words, thank you. Merci beaucoup, Maria Massi.
I only wanted to say that let us hope for the better. And then right now, we should not, as they used to say, we should not cry over spilled milk. We can only try and support Barrow to see whether he make it also, because I hope that he has the intention. And time is short.
If the president makes, succeeded.
Time is short. Yeah, 5 years is nothing. Yeah. So I think it's better, because as Sam said, it's very sad. No? Even when I hear Sam saying 57 years back, we are still at the same position, we should ask ourselves, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah.
What can we make better? If not, it's the same for the whole of Gambia with all our intellectuality and all the thing. We cannot move that. The only thing is just people who have the power are not doing it maybe the way people want them to do, but they do it the way by looking at who are supporting me for the election and who is my relative and things like that. These are our problems, our obstacles. But to move forward, I think there are better people for the advice anyway. So thank you, Mr. Sawane. I myself, I had also something.
Yeah, thank you, all viewers. We appreciate all of you, and then keep coming and sharing the program. This is New Gambia platform, our weekly talk show. Thanks to you, Alice. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Sawane. Yeah, easy.
All right.